I want you to stop for a moment and think about the last time you tried to impress a woman. Maybe you talked about your achievements a little louder than usual. Maybe you picked up the most expensive thing on the menu without blinking. Maybe you worked harder than normal to be funny, to be interesting, to be the most engaging version of yourself in the room. Maybe you stayed up crafting the perfect message, choosing every word carefully, reading it back 3 times before sending it. And what happened? If you are honest with yourself, one of 2 things. Either she seemed mildly entertained, but nothing deeper shifted between you. Or worse, the more you tried, the more she pulled back. The more energy you poured in her direction, the cooler she became. The harder you worked to win her attention, the less interested she appeared. And you could not understand why. You were doing everything right. You were showing up. You were putting in effort. You were making yourself available, making her feel special, making sure she knew you were interested. Is that not what you are supposed to do? This is the question that haunts so many men. And the answer is uncomfortable. But it is the answer that will completely change how women respond to you from this moment forward. The problem is not that you were trying. The problem is what you were trying to do. Impressing a woman and attracting a woman are not the same thing. In fact, in the psychology of female desire, they work in almost opposite directions. When you try to impress her, you are sending a signal you cannot hear yourself sending. You are telling her, without words, that her opinion of you is more important than your opinion of yourself. That her approval is something you are actively seeking. That without it, something in you feels incomplete. And female attraction, at its deepest neurological and psychological level, does not move toward men who need approval. It moves toward men who do not. This is not a game. This is not manipulation. This is one of the most fundamental truths in all of relationship psychology. A woman's desire is triggered not by a man's performance, but by a man's presence. Not by what he shows her, but by how he carries himself when he has nothing to prove. So what do you do instead? That is exactly what I am going to show you today. Not theory, not empty advice. A real psychological shift that changes everything. The first thing you do instead is become genuinely unfinished, not broken, not damaged. Unfinished in the way that all interesting people are unfinished. Still building, still growing, still moving toward something that excites them. Here is why this works psychologically. When a man is actively pursuing his own purpose, his own goals, his own vision for his life, he stops needing external validation to feel complete. And when he stops needing it, something remarkable happens. He stops performing. He stops managing impressions. He simply exists fully in whatever room he walks into. And that kind of presence is magnetic in a way that no achievement, no story, no perfectly timed joke can ever be. Women are not attracted to men who have everything figured out. They are attracted to men who are deeply committed to figuring it out. There is a fire in a man who is genuinely on his path, a direction in his eyes, a calm urgency in the way he moves through the world. That fire does not need to be announced. It is felt. And a woman who feels it does not need to be impressed. She is already drawn. The second thing you do instead is make her feel something rather than think something. When you try to impress a woman, you are targeting her mind. You want her to think you are successful, funny, interesting, valuable. But desire does not live in the mind. It lives in the body. It lives in emotion. It lives in the felt experience of being around someone who creates a specific kind of energy. Think about the most attractive man you have ever observed in a social setting. Chances are he was not the one talking the most or trying the hardest. He was the one who seemed most at ease, most at home in himself, the one who listened without needing to redirect every conversation back to himself, the one whose attention, when it landed on you, felt like it actually meant something because it was not given to everyone equally. That man was not trying to impress. He was simply being. Fully, unapologetically, comfortably being himself. And that comfort, that rootedness, created an emotional experience in everyone around him. not admiration. Something deeper, something physical, something that feels, to a woman, like safety and excitement existing in the same moment. That combination, safety and excitement together, is the precise neurological formula for deep female attraction. And you cannot manufacture it by trying harder. You can only access it by needing less. The third thing you do instead is let her come toward you. This is the shift that most men resist because it feels passive. It feels like giving up. But it is the opposite of giving up. It is the most powerful thing you can do. When you stop chasing her approval, when you stop performing for her attention, when you stop making her the center of your gravitational pull, something changes in the dynamic between you. The pressure disappears. And when pressure disappears, curiosity enters. She begins to notice that you are not like other men, that you are not adjusting yourself to fit what you think she wants, that you have an inner world she has not been given full access to yet. And the human mind, especially the female mind, is drawn powerfully toward what it has not fully understood yet. She starts leaning in instead of pulling back. She starts asking questions instead of deflecting them. She starts finding reasons to be near you instead of reasons to maintain distance. Not because you performed well enough, but because you stopped performing entirely. This is the paradox at the heart of female psychology. The less you need her to be impressed, the more impressive you become. The less you chase her attention, the more she gives it freely. The more complete you are without her, the more she wants to be part of what you have built. Here is the truth that holds all of this together. A woman does not fall for the version of you that is trying to win her. She falls for the version of you that exists when you have already won yourself. The man who has decided who he is, what he stands for, where he is going, and does not shrink or perform or bend that identity for anyone. That man does not need to impress her. His presence does the work his words are trying too hard to do. So stop trying to show her how valuable you are. Start living like a man who already knows. Because the moment you stop needing her approval, you become exactly the kind of man she cannot stop thinking about. If this hit something real inside you, like this video and share it with a man who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more deep psychology on attraction, masculine identity, and the emotional truths most people are afraid to say out loud. See you in the next one.